basically, I think for the first 7 years of my career, I shot only film. For some reason, it resonates a lot more to me, means more to me than the digital files that I then create. It's starting to change a little bit more now. I'm starting to really understand my post-production process with digital, so I can put some more meaning and more expertise behind it that then gravitates to it a little bit more strongly. Got drawers full of film, negatives, and I'm really quite grateful for that I've got those, because when I'm starting to go through revisiting my film and rescanning, and there's something they're just so beautiful. The negatives are just they're a beautiful thing to have. A high street store called Poundland that you could buy Agfa Vista for £1 a roll. It would normally be the 24 exposure batch of Agfa Vista, but Agfa Vista 200. But you would, as a new photographer, not necessarily earning a lot of money, you could buy a whole box of film for next to nothing, and you could shoot a lot of imagery with that. The learning curve with shooting analog is so brutal, because when you mess up, it costs you money, and so then you really are aware. You become very aware of the mistakes, and being quite regimented with understanding your exposure triangle, managing light, understanding how you're going to create an image relies on a lot of components. And when you then introduce digital, it's a lot kinder to you, and there's a lot more forgiving. And stylistically, I would say that my digital photography looks quite analog. I would say that, like, if you were to see one of my modern digital images and then compare it to like an older film photo I've taken, although there are some differences, the way that I see the way I like to see an image is very rooted in analog. So with my scan negatives, I can then standardize what my digital looks like to my film. And I think it's quite nice sometimes when you've got certain projects with a client who is only expecting digital imagery, and you can surprise them with, hey, by the way, I shot a few things on film, and do you want to see the contact sheet? And they're like, okay, let's have a look. And then ordinarily they would be like a little bit reserved if that was presented to them at the beginning of the project before seeing any imagery that you were going to shoot some film. But then when they see the results, they're like, wow, that's quite cool. They'll utilize certain imagery and weave it into it because they can see the benefit of it. I scan all my film myself because strangely through my journey, I'd taken on some other side hustle, so like part-time jobs when I was a bit younger, and it was through that I'd realised there was so much input into the scanning and printing process that the user of the equipment was putting into the imagery. So I realised that the image that you're getting scanned you're at the mercy of the expertise of the person scanning. And so, I mean, I've got the greatest respect for a lot of the camera stores in London, but I don't think they're going to have the same care and attention as what I have. To be a street photographer, you have to live and breathe it, and you have to go out every other day or every day. You get good results by consistency. You know, you're as good as your intellect, because in a very, very short space of time, nanoseconds, you know, they can recognise there's a story there, something powerful to be said in a very split instant, and they can see something. They can see a story in a moment, in a very, very quick time frame. Me doing street photography, although I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't say I'm very good. I think that I'm average at best, but it really tunes my perception of an understanding of what I need to be telling stories. I need to be looking for moments, you know, and being reactive enough and quick enough to get it. And when you get one, it's such a thrill, right? It's so good. a lot of the skills that I've deployed have come from street photography, of being on my toes, being aware of the model might not be quite ready for the shot, and that's actually the shot, you know, that they've done something, and you're being hyper aware and vigilant. To get a good shot on the street, it's like, it's trying to find a unicorn. I'm now looking towards certain personal passion projects that I would like to start working on. And I would like to have an exhibition and to put a book together. I think that I do have enough work to be able to make something quite interesting.